Hello, Randy Cummins back again with Lucy. Here in this video we're going to look at some self-care stretches for the lower back, hip, and hamstrings. In working with Lucy previously in trying to help with her lower back pain and hip discomfort, we found that some of these stretches were very beneficial that we worked into the Integrative course. So here is just a nice, clean, simple little video so that you can follow along at home to help relieve any of the discomfort you're having from mild back pain or hip or shortness in the hamstrings. So I'm going to work with Lucy here on the yoga mat, and what I would definitely recommend is that when you're starting a self-care stretch program at home, that you do it slowly and in stages. I know we all are in a big hurry to get rid of our pain, but you have to remember that it took a long time for us to get that pain. So it sort of is proportional that you have to take your time to get rid of the pain. And it has to do with using your body smart and to be consistent with the stretches, which is the key. So I'm going to ask Lucy to lie down face up with your head over here and just flat. Because this is the best way to start when you have lower back pain, in my estimation, is just lie on the floor. No movement at all, because it really brings you into your body a little bit more, and you'll see if there's any movements that come to your mind naturally that'll help alleviate any of the pain you're feeling when you're lying in this position. So, Lucy, how are you feeling just lying flat like that? Does your lower back feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so it feels good in this position, so how I would recommend starting after this initial supine position is just to bend your knees and put your feet flat on the mat. Okay? And what this does, and you can see in that little movement that she did, it tucks her pelvis a little bit, and it supports the sacrum, the bottom of the spine, but also it lengthens the lower back. And just in this sustained position, you're doing your lower back a favor. That feels okay? And if you bring your attention away from her lower back area and just come up to her head for a minute, one thing that you can encourage, and I'm just going to go off camera for a second and grab a hold of this mat, is a tuck of the person's chin. And you can just accommodate that by just putting you can put your head back down. You can see how her chin tucks a little bit. And what that does is it lengthens the posterior cervical so that with the hip, with the knees up and the chin tucked, you're getting a stretch throughout the entire spine. Gentle, but consistent. That's the key. And the next stretch from that is to bring your knees close to your chest a little bit. So and you can do that by holding here. And just holding, again, more of a lengthening in the lower back. Easily done. You feel a little bit more stretch in your lower back, right? And then the more you can hold this in sustained position, the better. Okay, now just relax, take your hands off here and straighten in your legs a little. This is for a little hamstring stretch. You can feel the shortness in that one leg. So this is just natural movement. You're extending your legs. But you can see how the bend in her knees, on this one, a lot less than this one. So that means that this hamstring is tighter on this side. So a lot of times people will use a strap. So if you had a strap, you could put it around the balls of your feet, and with your hands you could hold it in place a little bit more. Also too, in this position, if you wanted to put yourself right up against the wall, so you'd bring your bottom right up against the base of the wall, and you can place your legs right up against the wall for sustained stretch, quite lovely, and you can hold out there as long as the wall is standing, basically, so for a long time. So then I'm going to let you, from this position, I want you to just lower your legs slowly. And see, is that okay on your because that works your core. And then if your lower back is bothering you, you know, a lot of times it's smart to work on your front, your abdomen, your abdominal muscles to help stabilize. Because if there's excessive tipping of the pelvis, which exasperates the natural lordosis in the lower back, working your core like they emphasize in Pilates and a lot of martial arts, and to work on your erectus to help stabilize your pelvis, your pelvic bowl. Next, simple straighten one leg, please. And then just gently start to bring the leg over that way to start to stretch the hip and the lower back. You feel that in your lower back? And see, naturally started to accommodate the stretch by using your hand. Right? So this is a very nice stretch. It helps open up the hip and the lower back. And if you want to get a little bit more precise in your home practice, you do the same movement, but try to keep the shoulder on the same side down as much as possible, and only go that far, because then you get a little bit more precise stretch. And you can still use your hand to do it, but try to, there you go. So you do one side and then the other. So if you would do that, please, slowly. And actively engage your abdomen when you're moving your leg, so that you're constantly working, you're reinforcing working your core. And that's a very nice stretch. And one thing I would add is, when you're doing this stretch, you let your foot come off, because it lets your knee drop a little lower if it wants to. So that's a very nice stretch. You know, if you're working, you can do these by yourself, but if you're working with someone, you know, someone happens to be there with you, that you can have them do a little bit more sustained stretch for you, so you can hold it a little longer. All these stretches can be accommodated into a partner stretching, which is also lovely. Okay, so bring leg back, please. Doing okay? Okay, now in lower back pain, I'm going to ask her to sit up, but in lower back pain, you don't want to sit straight up, because it can, again, exasperate the existing pain in the lower back. So I'm going to have you roll onto your right shoulder and then sit up sideways, so you can come up to a seated position. That's a lot smarter if you're having lower back pain. So let's turn this way, and then just extend your legs to the front. And we did this earlier in one of the earlier videos, because in this stretch, it will help open up the lower back and the hips and her tight hamstrings. So just lean forward first of all. So you feel that stretch, yeah? So if you're doing this at home, you could, to sustain the stretch, I would recommend, come up for a little bit. If you wanted to stay in it for a long period of time, put some pillows here, stack them up high so that you can lean right into them, and you can allow yourself to hold the stretch a little bit more. If you have tightness in your hamstrings like Lucy does, a simple roll underneath there will decrease the pain, so it allows her to go forward a little bit more. As you can see easily that she goes into the stretch a little bit more. And if there is someone there with you, they can accommodate this stretch by standing behind you and just applying a little, and I emphasize a little, pressure forward. So if they feel like they can stretch a little bit more, you can take up the slack. Is that okay? Yeah. And just let your head lean forward. So you have to respect their range of motion, right? Okay, up. Now, just to build on that sense of partner stretching to accommodate movement forward, there's a couple of different ways you can stretch here. So if you turn your foot this way here and give me your hands. So inhale, and on the exhale, just forward. Now let's grab my wrists if you can. So inhale and exhale. So that way I can see your knees coming up, so that's a little bit too much. So let your head drop, and I can hold the stretch this way. It's okay on your lower back? It's good on my lower back too, thank you. Okay, and release. And now we're just going to do a simple rotation. Because you want to get into utilizing rotation because of the way the spine interacts with the sacrum. There's a lot of tightness that can be happening in the deep lower back, and rotation stretches the larger erector muscles and helps create some space in the lower back. So a simple rotation is you can bend one knee and go like this. So you're in this position here, and then you're going to take this arm and put it this way, and this arm behind you. Inhale and exhale, rotate to that side. And with every rotation, every breath, see if you can get into it a little bit more. And lift your head up and like you're looking over your shoulder. That really allows you to get into it a little bit more. And release, come back to center. And then you're going to change. Inhale and exhale, rotating and looking up. And relaxing back. Then if you could come up, please, on your knees. And then on all fours. And we're going to do what's called a cat stretch. So this helps loosen up the lower back and hips. So as you here, you lift the head. And then on the other breath, rounding. So you see it gets full contour and full motion of the lower back. And you repeat that several times, paying attention to what you're feeling. It's like you're leading with your sacrum. So your sacrum down and your head comes up. And then as you lift your sacrum up, the head goes down. So it's nice, constant motion. How does that feel, Luce? Okay?
Good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the natural movement from the cat pose is going into child's pose. So she can just go back, really stretch out the lower back, which is quite lovely. It's very nice. And again, working with a partner, you can do all sorts of accommodations to help open up the lower lumbar, the lower vertebrae of the back by doing cross stretches. By depressing onto the sacrum. The pressure's okay, Luce? Because that really helps open up the lower back and it allows the partner to utilize their body weight in a nice functional way to help create some length in the lower lumbar vertebrae. Okay. And then just slowly up. Okay. And if you can, straighten your legs. So, you know, in working by yourself, doing self-care, you're taking on the responsibility of it. You know, I mean, we all, when we need help, we reach out and we get help from different professionals. Self-care, though, home practice is where I really feel that you take responsibility for what's going on in your own body, in your own life. So anything where we can create a nice environment to do continued practice, to hold stretches for longer periods of time so that we can focus on our breath and our body mechanics, it's great. And a lot of times it helps de-stress us, calms our nervous system, and helps our minds to clear a little bit so that we can make conscious right choices. So just to end, why don't you move your feet up a little bit more. We're just going to use this bolster to do a couple of positions. So this is going to be in your lower back, and then you're just going to stretch over, if that's okay, and your arms overhead. And you feel a slight stretch in your lower back, okay? Very nice. So you want to make it comfortable. You want to make it in a place where it can be a little quiet, where you can do poses like this and hold them for 2, 3, 4 minutes so that your body can really relax into them. All right, so having been in this position for a minute or so, and you can see the nice calm demeanor here on Lucy's face, we're going to come out of this position. And like I mentioned earlier, you don't want to have the positions, when you're transitioning into positions, be a cause for aggravating the problem you're trying to quell. So in coming out of this position, it's very nice to roll to one side. So if you roll here, and then you can come up to a seated position. That alleviates a lot of the stress out of the lower back. So with some good intention and a few simple props and some follow-on video, you can really help yourself on the road to feeling better. Okay, it's always an insightful journey when you take responsibility onto yourself in regards to helping bring yourself back to a sense of proper balance. We feel better, our minds are clearer, we have more time and energy for ourselves and others. So thank you again, and thank you Lucy for helping quite a bit. And I'd like to thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again in the next series of videos. Thank you very much.
Hey patrons, it's Karina and Missy. Hello.
Hey patrons, this is Jess.
Hey Mom.
It is Greek Goddess Hour continued.
And we are here with an exciting update for you.
Going to be more interactive, more communication, more connection, so that we can offer you more of what you want to see.
It's like the most frustrating thing. You're like, God, this video is going so great, and then the camera dies.
All right, patrons, so I just want to show you all the perspective here. All right, so you're sitting.
You're choosing us over Netflix, or?
Right.
I wouldn't even choose us over Netflix.
No, that's not true. Feeling pretty lucky. And what we want to do is become more connected with you.
So thank you so much.